Uncovering the devil's influence, recognizing and resisting spiritual manipulation. In our daily lives, we face countless influences that shape our thoughts, actions, and perspectives. Some of these influences come from external sources like our environment, relationships, and culture, while others come from within, rooted in our personal experiences, emotions, and beliefs. But there is also a more subtle and powerful force at work, a spiritual influence that seeks to deceive, discourage, and mislead. This is often referred to as the devil's influence, and its purpose is to create confusion, conflict, and division within ourselves and with others. Today, we'll explore what the devil's influence looks like, how it affects us, and what we can do to uncover and resist it, so we can live in alignment with truth, peace, and purpose. The first thing to understand about the devil's influence is that it is subtle and deceptive. Rarely does it appear as obvious evil or blatant wrong. Instead, it works through lies, manipulation, and half-truths, making it difficult to recognize. This influence often exploits our vulnerabilities, targeting our fears, insecurities, and desires. For example, it may take the form of thoughts that seem self-critical, feelings of doubt, or beliefs that we are somehow less than others. By sowing seeds of self-doubt and insecurity, the devil's influence can make us question our worth, purpose, and ability to overcome challenges. This influence thrives in the shadows of our minds, where it goes unexamined, gradually taking root and impacting how we see ourselves and the world around us. One of the most common signs of the devil's influence is a sense of confusion and inner conflict. When we are under this influence, we may feel torn between what we know to be right and choices that lead us away from our values. This internal struggle creates a sense of uncertainty, making it difficult to make clear, confident decisions. Confusion can cause us to second-guess our intentions, weaken our resolve, and ultimately lead us to stray from our true path. This tactic of confusion works because it keeps us distracted, focused on questions and doubts rather than the truth within us. Another way the devil's influence manifests is through deception. This influence distorts our perception of reality, making us believe things that are not true or convincing us to pursue goals that don't align with our values. For instance, it may create a sense of false promises, encouraging us to chase after material success, fame, or social validation, as if these things will bring lasting fulfillment. By focusing on temporary gains and illusions of happiness, deception pulls us away from what truly matters: relationships, personal growth, and a sense of purpose. Deception often shows up in thoughts like, "I'll be happy when I achieve this," or "I need to be like others to be successful," leading us down paths that, in the end, leave us feeling empty. Discouragement is another powerful tactic of the devil's influence. It seeks to weaken our motivation, self-esteem, and belief in our ability to overcome obstacles. Discouragement whispers that we're not good enough, that our efforts don't matter, or that we're bound to fail. This influence can appear just when we're on the verge of achieving something important, convincing us to give up before we see results. By chipping away at our confidence, discouragement aims to keep us from pursuing our goals, making us feel as though success and happiness are out of reach. When we allow discouragement to take hold, we become more likely to settle for less, avoid challenges, and abandon our dreams. The devil's influence often operates through division, creating conflict within ourselves and with others. Internally, division appears as feelings of shame, guilt, or self-criticism, making us feel fragmented or unworthy. Externally, division causes strife in our relationships, leading to misunderstandings, arguments, and resentment. By fostering division, this influence seeks to isolate us, cutting us off from the support, compassion, and understanding that community brings. Division works by focusing on differences rather than commonalities, making us see ourselves and others as separate rather than interconnected. When we feel divided, we're less likely to seek help, open up, or reach out, making it easier for negative influences to take hold. Fear is another tool in the devil's arsenal, and it's one of the most powerful ways to control and limit us. Fear can take many forms, from the fear of failure and rejection to the fear of the unknown or of change. This influence feeds on our anxieties, magnifying our worries until they seem insurmountable. When fear takes control, it prevents us from taking risks, pursuing our goals, or even stepping out of our comfort zones. Fear convinces us that staying safe and secure is more important than growth or fulfillment. By keeping us in a state of fear, the devil's influence ensures that we remain passive, stuck, and unable to move forward. Temptation is another method used to mislead us. It presents options that seem desirable or fulfilling on the surface but ultimately lead us away from our values and goals. Temptation often appeals to our desires for comfort, pleasure, or recognition, making it easy to justify choices that may seem harmless in the moment. For example, temptation can encourage us to prioritize short-term pleasures over long-term growth, indulge in unhealthy habits, or pursue success at any cost. This tactic works by offering immediate gratification, distracting us from the lasting joy that comes from living in alignment with our values. Isolation is a tactic that works by making us feel as though we are alone in our struggles, disconnected from others. This influence creates a sense of separation, convincing us that no one else would understand what we're going through or that reaching out would only bring judgment. Isolation feeds feelings of loneliness, making us more vulnerable to negative thoughts and self-doubt. When we feel isolated, we're less likely to seek support, encouragement, or perspective from others, which makes it easier for the devil's influence to take hold. By cutting us off from the positive impact of community, isolation weakens our resilience and limits our ability to overcome challenges. Hopelessness is another tactic that seeks to strip us of our motivation, energy, and sense of purpose. This influence tells us that our situation will never improve, that our efforts are meaningless, or that we're destined to fail. When hopelessness takes root, it can be difficult to find the strength to keep going. It makes us feel as though change is impossible and that we should simply accept our circumstances, no matter how challenging they may be. Hopelessness convinces us to give up on our dreams, abandon our faith, and lose sight of what's possible. To resist the devil's influence, we must first become aware of it. Awareness is the foundation of any defense, as it allows us to recognize when our thoughts, beliefs, or actions are being influenced by forces that do not serve us. One way to increase awareness is through self-reflection, taking time to examine our motivations, thoughts, and feelings. By asking ourselves whether our beliefs align with our values and goals, we can identify influences that may be leading us astray. Building inner strength is also crucial in resisting negative influences. Inner strength helps us stand firm in our convictions, making it harder for discouragement, fear, or temptation to sway us. We can build inner strength through self-discipline, setting small goals, and following through on them. Each success, no matter how small, reinforces our belief in our abilities, giving us the confidence to face challenges and resist negative influences. Community support is another powerful defense. When we surround ourselves with positive, like-minded people, we create a network of encouragement and accountability. A strong community can help us gain perspective, reminding us that we're not alone in our struggles and that others are facing similar challenges. By connecting with people who share our values, we create a buffer against isolation and division, allowing us to receive support, guidance, and encouragement when we need it most. Faith also plays an essential role in countering the devil's influence. Faith gives us hope, purpose, and a sense of direction, helping us stay grounded even in difficult times. Whether rooted in spirituality, personal beliefs, or a commitment to a greater good, faith provides a foundation that keeps us focused on what truly matters. When we have faith, we find strength in knowing that we're not alone, that our lives have meaning, and that we have the power to overcome obstacles. Practicing gratitude is another effective way to combat the devil's influence. Gratitude shifts our focus from what we lack to what we have, reducing feelings of comparison, jealousy, and dissatisfaction. By focusing on our blessings, we gain a more balanced perspective, one that allows us to appreciate the positive aspects of our lives. Gratitude helps us recognize the things that truly matter, reinforcing our commitment to our values and making it easier to resist influences that try to lead us astray. Forgiveness is also essential in freeing ourselves from the hold of negative influences. Often, we carry guilt, resentment, or regret that weighs us down, making it difficult to move forward. By practicing forgiveness, both for ourselves and others, we release the power that these emotions have over us. Forgiveness allows us to let go of the past, creating space for healing, growth, and new opportunities. Setting boundaries is another important step in resisting negative influences. Boundaries protect our time, energy, and focus, helping us stay committed to our goals and values. By setting boundaries, we limit our exposure to sources that reinforce negative beliefs or distractions. For example, setting limits on social media can reduce the impact of comparison, while choosing to spend time with people who uplift us can help reinforce positive beliefs. In conclusion, the devil's influence is a subtle yet powerful force that seeks to distract, discourage, and mislead us. It manifests in many forms, including confusion, deception, discouragement, division, fear, temptation, isolation, and hopelessness. By increasing our awareness, building inner strength, seeking community support, nurturing faith, practicing gratitude, embracing forgiveness, and setting boundaries, we create a strong defense against this influence. In doing so, we empower ourselves to live a life rooted in truth, purpose, and fulfillment. Each step we take toward resisting negative influences brings us closer to the life we are meant to live, free from the chains of deception and empowered by clarity, peace, and purpose.